Specifically, we have several thousand mechanics and machinists that are striking as part of a renegotiation and a cancellation program done by Volkswagen.
Thousands of Volkswagen workers in Germany went on strike on Monday after the company announced plans to close 3 plants and slash pensions.
Volkswagen's had a really tough time in the last several years. First, they lied about their emissions, then they lied about lying about their emissions, and then they started losing clients around the world. Demand for the cars are down sharply, and the company is trying to right size, which means closing several facilities. And so the people who work in those facilities are striking unless the facilities are kept open. If that sounds like not a particularly good plan, that's because this isn't a particularly good plan. The people are desperate because the company is going under. In fact, the entire German auto industry is in the process of dying, along with the bulk of the German industrial plant.
5 reasons German industry is failing.
Germans used to get almost all of their natural gas and the stuff that they use to source their electricity system from Russia at prices that would probably be safe to consider at below the global average. With the Ukraine war, the Germans took a moral stance and decided to stop using that stuff, which drastically drove up not just the price of power, but of the price of the raw materials that they use to fuel their chemical system. And without their chemical system, it's kind of hard to do any manufacturing down the stream. And so we actually see German chemical companies physically dismantling their infrastructure and shipping it over to places with better economics and cheaper energy, places like Louisiana. The Germans have made a huge amount of money building an industrial plant in the Chinese system. Well, you do that for long enough, and eventually the poor backwards country that you're sending stuff to starts making stuff. And now the Chinese are making cars that are competing with the Germans on price around the world. The Europeans thought that electric vehicles were the future, invested very heavily in it. Volkswagen is no exception to that. And it turns out it hasn't really worked. Not only are consumer preferences going in a different direction, people are starting to do the math on the production and the full cycle cost of an EV, and they're discovering in most cases it's at best a wash. The birth rate in any country tends to drop as you urbanize, and Germany was the first country in the world to urbanize over a century ago. Well, you fast forward to today, and it's not that they're running out of children. That happened in the 70s and 80s. They're now running out of people in their 50s, and we're looking at a collapse in 2 ways. On the demand side for vehicles, and so demand for cars has gone down. If you're a car company, you can see the problem. The other half is a collapse in workers.